everybody, welcome back in the shed. I'm Troy. This is Dave.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Today we're talking about the top 3 best and worst music videos from the MTV era.
When Troy hit me up for this topic, he wanted to do best MTV videos, which I thought was just too deep and wide. I wanted to do worst MTV videos because there were several that came to my mind immediately. We decided to compromise, and tonight we're going to do something, a little different. We're going to split it. Troy's going to do his 3 favorite MTV videos, and I'm going to talk about the 3 worst MTV videos in my mind. My number 3 worst MTV video is going to be Blondie Rapture. Rapture was off Blondie's 5th studio album, Auto American, in 1980. It was a disco rap song, that went gold and went to #1 on the Billboard charts. But this song is always, and this video especially, it's always made me cringe. Renowned artist and Andy Warhol disciple Basquiat is in the video, as is early hip-hopper, Fab Five Freddy, which I guess was put in there to, kind of add some credibility.
I don't know if I've ever seen the video. I remember the song, of course, but yeah, that whole rap section is pretty dumb.
You won't be able to unsee it once you see it.
Out to the parking lot and you get in your car and drive real far.
And the dancing in the video is so stilted as, Debbie Harry kind of meanders her way through this, room, I guess it was. And the rap lyrics in there, about this man from Mars who's eating cars and eating bars, and now he only eats guitars. It's just ridiculous.
And eating bars, and now he only eats guitars. Yeah.
I really don't think Dylan is threatened at this point. Just silly, inane lyrics. But this was really like early MTV era.
If that album came out in '80, that was kind of before MTV. But I guess they played it on MTV.
I think the video came out right about the time that
got you.
MTV was busting out. But
yeah.
No, it's a stupid, ridiculous kind of video, and I really don't like it, man. So anyway, Rapture by Blondie is going to be my number 3 worst video. Troy, what do you got for your number 3 best video?
My number 3 best MTV video is Aha, Take On Me.
Love it.
So it was on their album Hunting High and Low, came out in June 1st of 1985, and it actually sold 11 million copies. Even though at that time I wasn't really into that kind of music, there's no way you could not see that video, because even though we didn't have MTV back in the day, we had Friday night videos, and they played it all the time. And I remember it was a really cool video, and it was definitely ahead of its time,
The graphic illustration in that, and how they merged it with live video, it was groundbreaking. And it really, I don't think anything else at that time could even be remotely connected with that. It
was an original for sure.
It was a great concept, and it was a great execution, and it was a great video.
Yeah,
really.
it tells a story. It's just not like these cool cool, graphics or
It
cool,
was
special
like a
effects.
comic book thing, but it merged it with,
Live action. I'm going to read some notes here. The video is famous for its rotoscoping technique, which I don't know what the technique they did with rotoscoping back then, because I don't know if they used computers for this. I'm not real sure. Now rotoscoping on computers, with this, that's very,
probably a lot more complicated than it would be
way more
tonight.
complicated. Yeah, because they had to. It was this is what it was, a form of animation where live action footage is traced frame by frame. It says around 3,000 frames were hand drawn by animators. It combined pencil sketch animation with live action, which it says was a groundbreaking effect at the time.
It was.
The song was released, this was crazy. The song was released 3 times before it became a hit. The original version in 1984 flopped. It was re-recorded with a better arrangement, and then they put out the video in 1985. It won 6 MTV Video Music Awards in 1986. And what's even crazier, it has over 2 billion views on YouTube.
And they're Norwegian, so am I. So I gotta love it, right?
Could that be on the one-hit wonder list too? Because I don't know of any other
Yeah,
Aha
that
songs.
would definitely be a one-hit.
I mean, that's a big one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
Because
it's
you still hear that on the radio
All
all
the
the
time.
time.
and everyone sings it, and only Troy can hit that high note.
I can't hit it anymore. I can't hit it anymore.
I can't do
I hit it one time in the car. I actually recorded myself hitting it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Anyway, that's my number 3 best MTV music video. What's your number 2 worst?
That was a great choice. This is a total coin flip for me,
Okay.
because it's hard to deny the song that I was gonna go with was Starship's "We Built This City,"
We built this city on rock and roll.
Oh,
which was a song that Troy actually liked.
I like that song. I like that song.
And we talked about it in the previous episode.
That's a very 80s song for sure. And music video and album cover, the whole thing. It's
Well-
bad. Yeah.
But the one I'm going with instead is going to be Journey, Separate Ways. Journey released a song on their Frontiers album in 1983.
Here we stand, worlds apart, hearts broken.
Now, this is the point in Journey's, discography where they were really mining that more middle of the road song
Pop ballad.
craft. Yeah, pop ballads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The video is so cringeworthy because it's shot on this wharf somewhere, and it has this gal that's walking, in a miniskirt back and forth in front the whole freaking time.
If we can go on.
And they start out doing this air instrumentation, like
Okay.
air guitar, air
I
keyboard,
think
air drum.
They all kind of grouped together.
They're all kind of grouped
Yeah,
together.
yeah, okay. I remember it now. I remember it now. Yeah.
Could change your mind.
But it has all these close-ups of the band singing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're so intense, and it's so
Yeah.
I don't know, heartfelt or whatever.
When our separate ways, if he had
But it's just, and Steve Perry, is kind of doing his own thing, walking through these containers and all this kind of stuff, and everyone seems so earnest when they're singing a song, but it's just a super cheesy song. And I gotta say, I don't think Journey ever recovered from that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really one of those songs.
Maybe that's why Steve Perry left.
Well, maybe so, but it was. I think he stuck around for a little while after that, but it was just one of the cheesiest, dumbest, videos, and how Journey got sucked into that, I have no idea, but Separate
But
Ways is going to be my number 2. Man.
That was the beginning of MTV, so I think a lot of those bands were trying to figure out what to do and just doing whatever these producers and their record labels were telling them to do, even though they didn't, because music videos were so new at that time.
Yeah, and they probably fell under the spell of some creative director
Yeah,
that said,
exactly.
"Hey, man, we're going to do this," and say, some of them were fine. They would just get up there and play live,
Yeah.
whatever they would do,
Yeah.
or they would have play live in front of some other kind of scenario going on. But this one is just dumb, man. I mean, especially why are they on a warp? Why is Jonathan Cain playing a keyboard to the wall and there's nothing plugged in? I mean, it's just, anyways. Separate ways.
Number 2.
Number 2. What's your number 2 best?
My number 2 best is going to be Van Halen, Hot for Teacher.
All right, good one.
So Hot for Teacher was on Van Halen's 1984 album, came out in January of 1984. The video came out in October of 1984. So 1984 was the last album of the David Lee Roth era, the original David Lee Roth era, before Sammy Hagar, became the lead singer. I know we've talked about this many times, but I love the intro to that song because those drums sound like a funny car. I'm not going to tell that whole story again. You can dig through our past episodes and maybe you'll find that
I think
story
we've
somewhere.
mentioned that song at least twice.
We've mentioned it quite a
We
bit.
did it on drum intros, and we also talked about it on a early, I think, video thing. But it really is a great video because it's funny.
Yeah.
It's got, vignettes of not just music playing the whole time, but it's got, Roth is the bus driver.
It has their little mini doppelgangers,
Yeah, exactly.
the little kids that are sort of like the younger versions of all the guys in Van Halen, and then you have the hot teachers that come out and dance on the freaking on the desks.
Exactly.
So here's some interesting facts. Some of the teachers, so I guess there were more than one teacher in the video.
I didn't know that.
I haven't watched it in a while. Maybe I need to go back and watch it again. So here's some pretty cool, interesting facts. Some of the teachers in the video were reportedly real-life exotic dancers from Los Angeles clubs.
They look like it.
Their casting helped fuel the controversy, especially with MTV almost banning the video for being too provocative. So they almost banned that music video from MTV back in the day, but I guess they changed their mind. I don't know.
For the children.
For the children, yeah. And the food fight scene in the cafeteria was entirely unscripted. The band and extras were told to just go crazy, and they did. I always think about this. So, you have all those kids, they're in the classroom, and then the teacher comes out and she's dancing in her bikini and stuff. And I'm thinking, were those kids really there? Or did they do some creative editing to make it look like they were there? I wouldn't say it would be traumatizing, but did the parents not care?
Kids didn't seem to care.
Especially the boys.
Little girl from Cherry Lord, how can you be so bold?
Yeah, no, it's there's nothing they're not going to see at the beach, so I don't know.
That's
if
true.
a big
That's
deal,
true.
so.
That's true. Anyway, that's my number 2 best video. What's your number 1 worst? And I can't wait to hear this one. Maybe I know what it is. Maybe I don't. This is the one that I, sort of hinting at my son at, and he said, Motley Crue, Smoking in the Boys' Room. Is that your number 1?
No, that's a terrible video.
It should have made your list. That'd be number 4 on your list, I guess.
It should be number 4. No, my number 1 is going to be Billy Squier,
Oh, yeah.
Rock Me Tonight.
When we originally talked about doing 2 separate episodes, that was on my list, for sure. That was on my top 3.
It's got to be on everybody's list. But if you want to take a college course on how to wreck a career, this will be
Yeah.
number 1
Yeah.
on the syllabus. Billy released a song on his platinum selling Signs of Life album in 1984. It was actually his highest charting single ever, which, you know, it reached number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100.
And it's a great song. I mean, they play it on the radio all the time today. I mean, if you forget about the music video, the song's not bad.
It was his Billy Squier's biggest hit.
Yeah, and I probably heard it on the radio last week.
All right. But Billy burst on the scene in like 1981 with his Don't Say No album. And then in 82, he had that album, Emotions in Motion, which was huge. But by 1984, you know, he could do no wrong. He was selling out concerts, headlining shows. Then this video came out. The director was a man named Kenny Ortega, and he had the bright idea of having Billy Squier like writhing on the floor and, you know, tearing his shirt and dancing in a manner that made, you know, like Elaine Bennis look legitimate. This video really kind of totally wrecked Billy Squier's career. And he said it was an MBA course in how a video can go totally wrong. But anyways, you've seen the video.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen the video. It's the worst video out there in my mind, but
I would agree.
certainly
I
a
would
lot.
agree.
Yeah, I like Billy Squier. He had so many great songs.
Yeah.
But just goes to show you how MTV can make you or break you, and that's what happened, man. It broke him, and I don't think he ever rebounded.
Yeah, which is crazy. You know, I've seen a lot of interviews with like artists from the early 80s, you know, at the beginning of that MTV era, like Pat Benatar, Daryl Hall, and they talk about how these producers or you know, record labels would sort of like convince them to do things in music videos that they wouldn't normally do.
Right.
You know,
And
like I think Pat Benatar said in an interview, it's like I'm not a dancer. You know, I don't dance. I'm not going to do the whole choreography thing. And she did, and I can't remember which video it was. I think it was her most famous, her most popular song.
With the shimmy.
Yeah. And Daryl Hall said it too. He goes, you know, some of those early MTV videos we did back in the day, they were just cheesy. They were horrible. They were awful.
They're real cringy.
So they were, you know, some got lucky and their career, you know, carried on. But yeah, Billy Squier. Has he never like tried to make a comeback or go on little mini
I'm
tours?
sure he has. He's still around, and a lot of people still love him because he did have a lot of great songs.
Yeah.
But it was one of those episodes in MTV and rock and roll history where it was so bad, so cheesy, and it really kind of turned off his audience because he had a lot of guys, you know.
Yeah. He was a rocker.
Yeah, totally turned off his male audience, and
Yeah.
I think they were trying to appeal to women.
Probably so, yeah.
It was kind of one of these things, but
If he would have waited a few years later and put some makeup on, he'd have been just fine.
he'd have been, you know, I've done before, yeah, I've done
The
before.
battery's about to die on the camera. Let me
Alright,
swap it out real
right.
quick,
Alright,
and
go.
we'll continue. Okay, my number one best music video from the MTV era is, you could probably guess what it is.
Well, you're gonna probably say Thriller or.
That's what it is. It's Michael Jackson Thriller.
All right, go ahead.
So it premiered on MTV on December 2nd of 1983. And I can remember watching it, I don't even remember, you know, I think at that time, because we didn't have MTV, like I said, I think they premiered it like on ABC or, you know, a network.
It was a big deal because it was like a short film.
Yeah, it was like 14 minutes long. I can remember laying in bed. I guess I was 12 at that time. That's crazy to think I was 12 years old when that video came out. And I remember laying in bed and watching that music video, because I think it was on ABC, because it was such a big deal at that time, because it wasn't just the regular music video that people were putting out.
It had a lot of pretty advanced techniques.
Yeah, and prosthetics, and you know, people look like zombies and werewolves and whatever they were. Yeah,
I think the guy that did maybe American Werewolf in London
exactly.
was the guy that helped Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I watched the behind the scenes on that a couple of years ago, how they put all that together and how they.
It was pretty fascinating.
It was pretty cool. At that time, it was the most expensive music video, and it cost $500,000 at that time. And you think about that now, if you did a music video like that now, it'd probably cost $10 million.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Girl, I can feel you more than any gold without jet.
No, it was groundbreaking. It was an event. The album was huge. Obviously, Michael was peaking at that point.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it was. I remember it. I mean, it was a big deal. I think it was in college or something at the time, and we all had to gather around and watch this thing because it was really pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Ola Ray, the cute little black girl in that video, everyone loved her. She was actually a Playboy bunny
Really?
at some point. I think prior to that.
I didn't know that.
Ola
Yeah.
Ray. And she's hot, man.
What's funny about the music video, it's a different version of the song than what you hear on the album.
Sure.
Because they just keep repeating the verse over and over and over. It's there. I watched it a few years ago because I wanted my son to watch it. I guess he was about 8 at the time, and I hadn't seen the video in probably since the 80s. But it's just the verse. They just keep singing this different verses over and over before it gets to the chorus.
But it had great choreography.
Yeah.
And it was an event like none we'd ever seen as far as a music video. Well, there was a lot of other event type videos, like when Madonna did Papa Don't Preach. I think Pepsi, produced.
But at that time, everybody knew. Everybody saw that.
Yeah.
These days, there's things that we don't know about, and their kids don't know about the things that we watch. But at that time, everybody, no matter
there was a lot more
the age.
work that went into it back then too, which you can do now with
special effects and stuff.
Special effects. But anyways, good one.
What's the problem?
Anyway, that's my top 3 best music videos from the MTV era, and that's Dave's top 3 worst music videos. Leave your picks below, either best or worst, whatever you want to do. Just comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Also, we got some merch. There's a link below. You can get some t-shirts and beer steins and all kinds of cool stuff, and we'll see you next time.
All right, folks. See ya.